Well, hey, everybody. I'm Ben Gromicko from Internachi, and we're doing a free live webinar. And we are doing free live webinars every month or so. Sometimes I teach them, sometimes we have a special guest, and we have a special guest today. We've got the closing guys, Bradley from theclosingguys.com, and we're going to talk about a really good idea about home inspectors. This is a good time to start creating content for your YouTube channels and for your website and for your social media and to get your face out there. If you're not doing home inspections, well, if you're restricted by your state, which is a good idea, or you're restricting yourself, that's another good idea. What are you going to do? Well, dress up for success every day. You're in business. If you're not doing an inspection, you should be working on your business and creating content. And the Closing Guys, that's our website there. I see that there are three of you. They're not all guys. Why don't you introduce the person in the middle there for us, Bradley? And Bradley is going to be presenting for us, everybody. Oh, it's live right now. You can ask questions if you're attending. But if you're watching the video that's on YouTube or social media, you can also reach out to the Bradley at theclosingguys.com or me, Ben at Internachi or Nachi TV. So Bradley, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks,
all right,
man.
Hey, what are we going to talk about today? And why don't you introduce the folks that you're with on closingguys.com?
Yeah. That's actually me. The beautiful lady in the middle is Nikki. She is my wife. You might say she's the brains behind the operation. Behind every great man is a great woman. And the other gentleman is actually my dad. My dad and I have done multiple businesses together, and he is also a partner. We're all partners in this business. So it's a real pleasure to work with family. We're so blessed to have that opportunity.
Yeah, and Internachi, I think of Internachi, it's more than just a big trade organization. I think of every member, every inspector as a family member, and we like to help each other out as much as possible. So I try to keep myself available to anybody who needs help. And the Closing Guys, I've watched a lot of your videos in the past few days. What do you guys do for our home inspectors?
Well, the primary mission of our company when it first started was to help service providers like home inspectors connect with clientele, to have a voice. There's a big need that we've seen there, that we've experienced there in our own journey. And we wanted to help them have a voice. And the Closing Guys was kind of started that way. It's made certainly several iterations and evolution over the past few years. But, we believe that the good guys deserve to be heard, and we want to help give them a voice.
Cool. And what are you going to tell us today? And do you want to share your screen?
We're going to talk about something that I see a discrepancy in, and that's the ability to get out and brand your business. And I think there's a lot of confusion about what branding means, and there's a big gap there. And anytime there's a gap in an industry, there's an opportunity to take advantage of that gap and thrive. And in the times we live in today, if time was of the essence before, which is something that I've said a lot, it's now was once I should do has become I must do. And so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk about how they can get out there, build a brand, and do the things they need to do to survive and thrive over the upcoming months and years.
Cool. Well, take over the screen and go for it. And if somebody has a question, feel free to ask questions during the presentation or after the presentation, and stick with us because Bradley's going to have an offer for our Internachi members.
Let's see here. Yes. How do I share it back to my video here real quick?
We see your desktop.
Whoop. All right. Are we good? Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope everybody else can see me. I can see you, Ben. So okay. I'll just chat with you. Again, thanks so much for having me today. I really appreciate everybody taking their time today. I know there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. And one of the things that we've been preaching, we've been putting out there is the importance of taking action, to not lay down right now. Some people are laying down, and just because you're not inspecting doesn't mean you have to lay down. You can still find ways to take action. We even started a small Facebook group for entrepreneurs to encourage this. If you guys want to check it out on Facebook, it's an Entrepreneurs in Action. I welcome anybody to be a part of that. A few years ago, we found ourselves, I have a home inspection background. Before that, I have a general construction background. We grew up building custom homes, ended up in home inspection. Long story, done all these things. I've been around real estate my whole life is the long and short of it. But a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I found myself in a position, and I was actually riding around with Dad. We were inspecting together, and I was ready to quit home inspections. We had entered the industry with some relationships, so things seemed to get off to a good start in the beginning. But after about 4 or 5 years, things really leveled out. A lot of the agents we knew were older, and they were retiring, and they weren't just getting replaced. And our business had completely flattened out, and it wasn't really providing for our family the way that I wanted it to. I was raised with this philosophy that doing a great job was the most important thing that we could provide for our clients. And I had always believed, because I saw it in our construction company growing up, that doing a great job should be enough. If you do a really good job, you should have a good business. And it just wasn't working out that way. And I was frustrated, and I just was ready to give it up. And I don't say that lightly, but we were just kind of ready to walk away. But in that conversation that we were having in the truck that day, I was sitting there thinking, I'm probably not the only one that's going through this, that finds that marketing, that finds that growing your business and doing these activities outside of doing your job, outside of doing a great job, to be difficult activities, and to be kind of maybe not the thing that we thrive or we're great at. In a way, we're all technicians, but I believe we need to be great marketers. And so we said, how can we help others like us? Not just home inspectors, but that's true through the service industry. How do we help people who believe in doing a great job connect with the people that can give them business? And after all this research that we did, we came to this conclusion that it was going to require having a voice. They needed to have a voice out there. They were in obscurity. And so we created the Closing Guys. And that's kind of the story behind the Closing Guys. And I was still ready to let our inspection company go, to be honest. We were pretty much ready to let it go. And I was talking with my wife, and we came to the conclusion that we would be complete fools if we didn't use this new knowledge and use our company as a test bed. It had completely flatlined. We weren't growing. I know some people were just growing by default during this time. We weren't. And so we started doing the things that we preached. We started putting content, putting video out into the world. And it was a very, very simple process in the beginning. We were consistent, and we just kept doing it. And I never could have dreamed of the results that we got. Fourth quarter that year, which you guys all know is a tough year for home inspectors, we doubled our best fourth quarter. And over the next year, we saw more than a 50% increase in our business. And coming into the end of this quarter, we were up 145% over the last 2 years, all from putting content out there. It's really that powerful. And so we've been studying this whole marketing thing for the past 2 or 3 years, and I've made it my mission to be the best marketer, because I believe that the key that we all have to accept, and the thing we all need to get serious about, is you need to be your own marketer. You need to be your own best marketer. That is the key. See, early in the Closing Guys day, we spent our time making content for other contractors, whether it was the radon guy, the pest guy, the electrician, the plumber, the roofer. We're making content for them. And while that had effect, and it was effective to make professional video for our clients, they didn't experience the same results we did, because they were missing this key element of producing their own regular, consistent, value-driven content. And so I realized that we got to teach people how to fish. We can't just sell them fish if we want them to be successful. And so it's been huge for us. And we actually decided to keep our inspection business, and we've hired new inspectors, and things have changed a lot. I've stepped away from it, but the business is now, we have to keep it because we saw this success. But I've made it my mission to give the next guy a voice. And that's everything about what we do. Let's see here if I can share this thing. Hang on one second. Let me just move over here. I've got some slides for you guys, make things a little easier.
And Bradley, where are you located? Where was your home inspection?
From North Carolina.
North Carolina.
You guys just have to give me a second. You know, it's amazing working things live seems to slow me down quite a bit here.
That's okay. That's okay. That's more genuine. Technology is great when it always works.
Yeah, well, you know how technology is. So anyway, I want to add a few slides here. These are really simple slides.
Nice.
You know, sometimes I get caught up building fancy slides, but I really want you guys to hear the message today. Title this Building a Brand to Survive and Thrive in Times of Chaos. You know, now things have become, what was once a great idea has now become something that we must do. Let's see, will this thing let me advance? All right. So let's go over a little bit about what we're going to cover today, what you guys can expect out of this. We're going to talk a little bit about what I see going on out in the marketplace and what we need to do. What does that pivot look like? What does that change look like? And then we're going to talk about our process. And we've developed this marketing process by studying all the best marketers out there from every field of digital marketing, every type of online marketing, what other people are doing, the absolute best practices mixed with what has worked great for us. And I'm going to share things with you today that will take you much further than the things we did for our inspection business. In fact, the things we did were pretty simple and crude. So you can get a ton of results by just applying a few of these things. Our process, we're going to break it down. It's really 3 parts: attract, connect, and convert. I've kind of got a special offer for you guys at Nachi. I want to help you guys take the next step. And then if there's some time, we'll try to do a little Q&A at the end. What's going on? Well, I think it's different for all of us. The world has changed. And you guys don't need me to tell you that. You probably watch the news. You're seeing the massive things. And doing business the way that we're used to doing business is no more. Yesterday's world is gone. And I think that we have to let that go. I was recording a video here recently, and I shared there's 2 things that are going to stop us from taking the action that we need to take. I've got a guest that's coming here. The beauties of doing business at home. I got the little guy coming in. 2 things that are going to stop us from needing to take the action that we need to take. One is the fear about what's coming next. Will I be able to eat? Will I be able to pay my guys? Will I be able to pay my bills 60 months from now? And that fear of the future, living in that space, keeps us from taking action. And then another one that I know that I've experienced, and I've heard other successful companies experience, is we're thinking about all the plans we had in January of this year, how we were going to have these insane years, and now our plans are derailed and we're faced to clean up a mess. And we have to let that go. We have to forget yesterday. And instead, we're going to have to think about something very, very specific. We have to think about staying visible. We have to think about staying connected. Now that we've become less connected in our traditional means, seeing people, shaking their hands, meeting them in person, the traditional means by which we do business, we've got to find new ways to stay connected. There's a phrase out there, and it's, if you're not first, you're last. And some of you are like, is he quoting Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights? And I'm not. What I'm telling you is, if you're not first in the minds of your customers, you might as well be last. Being the person they think of when they think of home inspectors will be the key. So as we come out of this, and the people that aren't doing anything, you need to be first in their minds, and not just in the people that already knew you, but in a wider audience. You need to expand that network of who you are first in their mind as a company who's here to stay, and can still serve them. So being first of mind is the goal. And to do that, we've got to find ways to stay visible. And this seems to be a struggle for a lot of us in the home inspection industry. I want to talk a little bit about what it means to stay visible. And these are just some stats. I'm not going to go through them all. I don't care to read all this stuff to you. But the point is if you aren't visible to people online, you're reducing your chances of getting business. And I know as we read through this list, it's all these Google stats, and it's all about searching, right? So people are like, oh yeah, I already pay somebody to do SEO for my company. And when it comes to getting business, that's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. Just because people see you in a Google search does not mean they're going to do business with you. You've got to have something on the other side of that. You've got to have something on the other side. And this is what we believe in. This is what worked for us. It's what I see working for other people, and that's content marketing. So I want to just do a really, really brief minute on content marketing. I want to explain what it is and why it's so relevant. Content marketing, the purpose of content marketing is to create and share relevant, written, downloadable, and visual media so your target audience can learn about you as a brand, your products and services, and your expertise. Simple as that. It means that you give content, and I believe that content is a specific form, specific medium that works best. And it creates a way for people to get to know you. It's as simple as that. And just because someone sees you on Google, that's not content. It's what happens when they click that link that matters. Because I'm sure plenty of you have paid for SEO and seen people bounce right off your site, even though more people are coming, more people are not calling. And see, content is king. That's the bottom line here. You know, people are consuming content, and they're consuming it in a very, very specific form. People have chosen that they want to watch video. And I don't want to go on a long sales pitch about this, but I want you to see this because it helps shape how we're going to speak to people now and in the future. And there's a stat right in the middle of this page I want you to look at. It says 20% of people will read the text on a page, but 80% will watch a video. After watching a video, 64% of users are more likely to buy a product online. And it makes people want to purchase because video has all these amazing things. Video allows us to build relationships. It allows us to connect, and it allows us to be consumed and engaged in an ever-changing world when people's attention spans are coming down. So these are just a few more statistics on video. I hope this is pretty convincing, but the point is that by using video in your marketing, that already gives you like the first leg up. So we believe in content marketing that's video driven. So let's talk about what it means to have a brand and more of these beautiful slides that I've created for you guys. So I hope you can like still see my face over in the corner.
For sure, for sure. Yep.
What is a brand? I think when some people think of branding, they think of, a logo, somebody creating a logo for them, or making their page all the right color, or making stuff match. And while that is part of branding and brand recognition, I have a different definition for brand for you. How about your brand is your reputation? And if you define brand as reputation, then all of a sudden what didn't seem to be as relevant for you as a home inspector, a 1-man, a 2-man, a 5-man, a 10-man job outfit is now relevant. What seemed like, oh, branding is like for what Goodyear does with the blimp. No, branding is the reputation by which people know you. And you're going to have to fight for single spots. Imagine we use voice, right? People are using voice to search. That becomes the thing, right? And somebody gets in their car and they're like, I need a home inspector. Is that voice to search going to result back 10 results or 20 results or give you the top 5? No, it's going to tell you 1, which means you're going to have to pay to be the one. And to have a brand, the benefit of having a brand is to be able to be, no, I want Joe's home inspection. I want Ben's home inspection. Can you give me the number for Ben's home inspection service? And Ben, if you have a home inspection company, I apologize, I don't know the name.
That's okay.
For us, it's Exceptional Home Inspections. I want someone to say our name when they search. And that way we come up first. And that's what having a brand can do for you. So let's start diving. So that's enough about that, about where we're at and what we need to do. Now let's switch gears and talk a little bit about our process of how to actually make this happen. So we've created a process, and this is our proprietary process. It's called Attract, Connect, Convert. Attract, Connect, Convert. And if you do these three things in your marketing, you are bound to grow your business. In fact, if you can just accomplish one, your business will grow. So what does attract mean? Attract is the premise that visibility is the first problem. Attraction is when your content is visible to more people more often, pulling you out of obscurity. Obscurity is the number one problem businesses face. And it is the number one thing that big companies are willing to spend massive amounts of money on. You think about what a company like Coca-Cola spends to have their logo everywhere. That's attraction. Attraction is visibility. And so as a small business, our job is to get more visible. This is one of my favorite Grant Cardone quotes. If they don't know you, they can't flow you. And while that's silly and it rhymes and it's fun, there's a lot of truth in it, right? If people don't know who your business is and they don't know who you are, they can't do business with you. We need to make sure, hang on one second, guys. I'm make sure my plugs worked right. I'm about to lose some power here.
Yep, no problem. No problem. We can still see your slides. So Bradley was talking about brand being your reputation. And brand, for me, when I teach my students, I tell them that it is the answer to the question, why should I hire you? It is that thing that distinguishes you from all the rest. It's different from marketing. Marketing is that which you use to set out your brand in that message, you know? But your brand is your reputation, and your reputation is unique to you.
I love that. I love that. I couldn't agree more. I need to write that down. So, how do you create visibility? I think it really kind of comes down to one thing, and this is going to be our solution to it. There's a really easy way. One, we can't afford to advertise and be everywhere like Coca-Cola, right? We can't afford to have our name out everywhere, but we can get our name out more, and we can get our name in front of more people. And our solution to this attract thing, the most basic form, is something we call just press record. Just press record. So this is as simple as taking your phone, which is a fantastic content creation device, holding it out and not being afraid to press the record button, creating a video and posting it online. And this sounds like completely elementary and simple, I'm sure. But the problem is not enough of us are doing it. What is easy to do is also easy not to do. And this is what we have to do if we want more people to know us. We have to be willing to take out our phones, press the record button, make a video, and put it online. See, we have this ability because of things like social media and email to deliver our content to people for free. All over anywhere. We can do it hyper local. And I know this is not applicable to home inspections, but even all over the world, we have this connectivity because of our devices now. And we have these devices that can do it with ease. The cameras in a modern phone, especially if you have one that is like a newer iPhone or a newer Galaxy, the cameras in this are better than most of the other cameras, probably every other camera you own, unless you own a real high grade professional camera. And if you know what you're doing, you can create cinematic videos with your phone. It can be done. So it then becomes not a question of can I, it's will I. So it's just press record. And here's what's going to happen when you just press record. When you go out and you make a video, you put it on Facebook, you send it to your email list, you put it on Instagram, or you put it on LinkedIn, better yet, put it on LinkedIn, make a video and put it on LinkedIn. If more people know you and your business, you will by default get more business. It is that simple. If more people just simply know who you are, if 1,000 people know that your business exists today and you increase that number to 2,000, do you think that you'll have more business? Of course you will. And now we have to think about, how do we do that consistently? So then the method becomes press record, put a video out, and then rinse and repeat that process. And what will start out as something that is scary will get easier and you'll get better. But you have to do it to overcome that hump. You know, a student of mine named Brad, not me, but a student of mine named Brad came to a class. He left the class and he started making videos right away. He didn't let anything stand in his way, and he started making videos for their home inspection business that he works for. And I started seeing Brad more, and I had never seen Brad online, but all of a sudden I started seeing him. And the same thing happened with another one of my students, Drew. And all of a sudden they became more visible, and I could see they were getting hundreds of views on these free videos they were putting out. Views that other inspectors weren't getting, that other people in the market weren't getting, and more people knew who they were. So it's just that simple. It's absolutely just that simple. And I know that at this point, everybody's thinking, well, what am I going to say in the video? That's fine to press record. What am I going to say? And this is the number one objection that we see and that we get from people when it comes to creating content and to creating video. And we're going to cover that. So that's attract. And let's pivot over to connect. Connect is service plus value equals trust. Connection is when the message of your content, video, is genuinely serves the audience by providing value. Connection is when the message of your video genuinely serves the audience by providing value. And I'm going to have to speed up. So this is when you change what you're saying so that it resonates with somebody. And this is something we have to do from the heart. So we got to stop taking our content and making it one about us. That's the first mistake I see. We want to make content. We want to talk about how great of a company we are, how long we've been in business, how many certifications we have. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Nobody cares. That's not why they watch your video. And I don't mean that to be harsh. I don't mean to say it doesn't matter that you have experience and it doesn't matter that you have cert. Of course it matters. But people want to watch your content to solve their problems, not to hear how great you are. And so we've got to make this like flip. We got to make this switch in how we do things so that we make it about them. And connection is all about when our heart is in, how do I make a video that helps my customer out, that really gives them value, that really solves their problem. And in our times today, it has become more important. This is why you really shouldn't be afraid of video today. Empathy is everything in the world that we find ourselves in today. And the easiest way to get empathetic is to be a real human with your phone, with the video on, and make a video that doesn't look super polished. You're just a regular person just like them who cares, who wants to be of service. You know, one of the things that we got the best result from here recently was, since this happened, we sent a message out to our list. Hey, if there's a way that we can help you, just let us know. We want to be there for you. As simple as that. And we got all this love back from our list. We didn't say, don't forget to do business with us, or, you know, whatever that they'd been hearing from everybody else. We just made it simple. It's a message of empathy. So how do we do that? If you want to give more value, do something as simple as this. What's the number one question that you get asked? Like the one that you're ready to pull your hair out if that next client asks you one more time. What's the question that you're completely tired of answering? Take out your phone, just press record, and answer that question in the simplest and plainest language that you can answer it. That's giving value. And then go out and put it everywhere. That's connecting. Because that's the question, those simple questions, the ones you're tired of hearing because you hear them so much, that's an indication that that's what people actually want to know. And that's the thing. We can't just make content that we want to talk about or that's of high technical level. We got to make content that actually relates to somebody where they are at. And most of our customers are not technically minded. They have simple questions, and we should answer them and put them out there in content, and it makes us more approachable. The result is, if you connect to someone in their position of need with a solution, they will in turn want to do business with you. The best way to show someone that you have the credentials, the expertise, and the ability to help them is by simply helping them. I want you to think about that. It's not telling them what your credentials are. It's not telling them what your experience it is. It's showing it in the way that you help them. Answer a question. Answer a frequently asked question. And here's the cool part. If you just get used to doing these things, pressing record, giving value, this is what grew our business so much. If you cut the presentation off now and went out and took massive action, you can do the things that grew our business. It was that simple. But I want to give you guys a lot more than that. So the third piece here, that's all we're going to talk about that. And then shifting over here to conversion, to convert. Relationships, or that relationship you're building with your message plus time equals raving fans. Conversion is when your video, when your content works in a carefully orchestrated harmony to build a relationship over time, the result of which is new customers and raving fans. The problem that we see with people's video is there's no plan with their content. It's just there. There's no purpose. They don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it. There's no consistency. They do 3 this week and then you don't see them for 2 months. And there's no clarity. I don't know what you want me to do. Why am I watching this? I don't know why we're here. So no plan, no purpose, no consistency, and no clarity. And that's what having a proper conversion campaign can fix. It can be super, super simple. If you watched an infomercial, right? If you've ever watched an infomercial, you're probably familiar with that point in the infomercial when they flash the screen up, the guy's screen goes smaller, and it gives you these ridiculously simple instructions. And it starts with pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and dial. And then they spell the number out for you. And then they tell you what's going to happen next. An operator is standing by to take your call. And all they need is this, this, and this. Why do you think they make those instructions so simple? Because it works. And it's in every infomercial. And you need to think about, if you're not as clear as an infomercial when you speak to your clients, you may be taking the risk that they won't know what to do. If you don't tell them what's next, they won't know what to do. So every single thing you do should have a chosen call to action. They don't all, though, have to be do business with me. The solution is make sure your audience knows what to do next. And so you're going to want to pick one of the above. Never both, but pick one. The first opportunity is a transitional call to action, and the second is direct. So we'll start with direct because that's the one everybody understands. A direct call to action would be pick up the phone, call 336-604-2844 to book an inspection today. That's a direct call to action, right? They know if they want to do business with you, they pick up the phone and they dial this number. A transitional call to action might be, hey, if you want more awesome videos like this, make sure to like our page. If you have questions about how to do video, make sure to comment below. We'd love to answer them in our next video. That's a transitional call to action. It invites them to engage, but it doesn't necessarily ask them to do business. And depending on who you're talking to, transitional may be better. If you're talking to a realtor, you may want to use a transitional call to action. You may want to say, hey, would you like to go out on another date? Instead of being like, will you marry me? And sometimes when we ask people to do business too soon, it's like asking a stranger to marry you. It doesn't make any sense. Sometimes we just need to ask them, hey, I'd like to continue this conversation. I'd like to give you more value. I'd like to help you out. So when you make a message now you guys know what to do. I've given you a simple process. You pick up your phone, you press record, you answer a question, and then you ask them what other questions they have that you'd love to help them and answer them with those questions. And you've successfully implemented attract, connect, and convert by putting it out there, being of value, and giving them a clear call to action. But it doesn't have to stop there. So your content creates engagers, subscribers, and customers. And by having a proper conversion campaign, that's when you can actually turn on your marketing faucet into something that literally becomes something you can control, like a hose faucet. So let's take it up a notch here. That was really simple. I wanted you guys to understand how that works. Attract, connect, convert up a notch. So attract, beyond just posting it on Facebook, the next thing that you might want to be thinking about is building a campaign where you earn a bigger audience, where you win a bigger audience. Well, what do I mean? Well, a coaching client of ours, Scott, we went through this process and he wanted to do all these things. I mean, he really wasn't ignorant about the subject, but he was having trouble figuring out what was next. So we made this suggestion, Scott, why don't you get on a relevant podcast? So Scott went and talked to a podcast host and got on a relevant podcast. He earned a bigger audience. Does that make sense? So instead of just talking to the people that knew him on his page, he now got to speak and share his message with all the people that listen to that podcast. So that's option one. And you need to do all these things. Two, you can buy a bigger audience. And this is when you use the power of some of the online advertising platforms like Google Display Network, Facebook's ads, and YouTube ads. And that way you actually buy your way into a bigger audience. You force your message out to more people. Now, the key in all this is knowing where your audience is so that you don't waste your time and money putting it in front of irrelevant people. As a home inspector who lives in North Carolina, I don't really need to advertise to people in California or China or Alaska or Florida, right? So we got to know where our audience is. And I don't just mean geographically, but online, and make sure we do this in an effective manner. But this is how we expand our reach out. This is how we come out of obscurity, by using the earn and buying to grow your audience. So connect. And this is one thing we do with every single one of our coaching clients. We take them through the process to build something called a brand script. A brand script is a framework that transforms your messaging. It puts your brand into a set of words. And in the brand script we use, it's a 7-part brand script. And you can go out and you can do all this yourself. We follow the platform of StoryBrand. And in fact, we're in the process of becoming guides for them because I believe in their messaging. So you can actually do all this on your own. But we take our clients through and hold their hand to create a great brand script. The key of this is you got to speak to your audience in their language, not yours. And if you build a brand script, then your messaging becomes consistent and clear in your video, on your website, on your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn profile, in every email that you write, in every press release that you do, in every advertisement that you make. You have this consistent messaging that is clear to your audience and it resonates with them. It will be the most powerful marketing thing that you ever undertake to build a brand script. All right, moving on to conversion. This is when you're really building a full marketing campaign. Conversion begins with a call to action. But the next step for this is actually building a campaign when you have all these things working in harmony with one another. One of the things that's worked really well for us is building something called a lead magnet. A lead magnet is a free piece of something, usually some kind of downloadable product, a video, a PDF, a document, that someone says, no, that has high value, and they're willing to trade you their email for it. So the cost to them is the cost of an email. And what it does for you is it allows you to make that exchange with someone, and then that person becomes on your list and you get to communicate to them forever. Ideally with more value, not just with sales pitches. Then the next step is to craft an email campaign. And the keys to your email campaign is to be value oriented. Like your email needs to not only be consistent and not overbearing, but everyone cannot talk about the sale that you're offering that month or you're special or why someone should come do business with you today. Your email should be a delight in someone's inbox because they're interesting and they provide value. And if you're making these value-driven videos, emails are a great way to put them out there. And a properly done video email will 2x, 3x, in some cases 10x your email open rates. And then you want to create some automation in this so that some of this is happening without you always having to be the one to do it. You set it up and then it goes. So the key to this is twofold. One, just like we just said, be value oriented. And then two, systematic follow-up. The biggest mistake that all salespeople make is they don't follow up. Over 60% of salespeople never follow up. Now you're like, well, I'm not a salesperson, I'm a home inspector. Well, I challenge that if you're in business for yourself, you better be selling your product because no one else is going to. And oftentimes what wins in sales, I'm gonna give you guys a sales lesson that you might already know, but it's worth repeating because it's the one we often don't practice, is the key to sales is in the follow-up. If someone calls you, make sure you call them back. If someone hasn't booked with you yet, make sure you follow up with them. And if you have value-driven content, your follow-up power is you're gonna have follow-up superpowers. For us, one of the most effective types of follow-up that we've ever done is putting value-driven emails into someone's inbox after they've booked with us about our ancillary services. We saw a 40% jump in radon bookings, and that's big in North Carolina, in radon testing bookings because we put a value-driven radon email in their inbox between the time they booked and the time we came and did the inspection. So that's how you can use follow-up to grow your business and just put money in your pocket right away. You can also go out and just create a video for somebody. You make a phone call, send them a video message right after you get off the phone. There's no better way to do something personal that makes you stand out. And while these things seem simple, their power is huge because only a tiny percentage of people are doing these things consistently. So out of all the things that we talked about, there's one problem that we have to solve first. And this is where I see people get hung up. It's not in the complicated steps, the building a marketing campaign steps that I see people get caught up. The problem that you have to solve first, and the one that I see stop more people, is getting started. I have an advertising partner that I work with. So with our clients who need advertising, he's my partner in that. And when we first started working together, he was telling me a story. And he said, Brad, you know, it's funny. I have a client working with me right now. And he said, it's like almost every other client I have. We come in, they hire me, and then I tell them we need this much content to run an ad campaign. And then they never get it back to me because they don't know how to make it. They don't know how to make the video. They don't know how to do the images. They don't know how to do this stuff. And he said, I can't do it for them because I'm not with them. I can't make the video for them. And it's the lack of content that stops this whole process. And without content, none of it can work. The attraction, the connection, the conversion, it doesn't work at the simple level and it doesn't work at the high level. And so that's what I want to help you guys with. And we've kind of been working day and night the last couple of weeks to create something to make this as simple, as affordable, and as quick as possible that you can go implement. I want to take all the questions out, take all the barriers out. So it's like y'all's permission, I'd love to share with you guys how I can help you guys overcome this initial barrier. Mm-hmm. So we've created this program and we call it Just Press Record. It's a 10-day video jumpstart process. It's super simple. So it's an online course that you're going to take. It is a blueprint for doing this. It takes all the things out. You're going to build a foundation in marketing. You're going to be able to pick the right topics. I'm going to give you a way to find topics so that you don't have to scratch your head on what to talk about. We're going to show you how to record video the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way. You don't have to be perfect, but there's some things you're going to want to do to make your video look professional. We're going to give you the opportunity to get feedback directly from us. We're going to show you the best practices for posting on Facebook. We're going to show you how to email videos, how to make all that work. We're going to break that down into a real simple process. And then I'm going to give you guys ideas and plans for how you can really 10x these results over the future. In this, we include a couple of bonuses with this. One is access to our exclusive Facebook group. This Facebook group was designed for our coaching clients, our current coaching clients, and we want to open this up to you guys. This is a place you can post your videos, you can get feedback, you can ask questions, you can see what other people are doing and get ideas. This is a really great value in a way that you can interact with other people who are doing the same thing and step your game up. We've also put the whole thing into a very simple workbook that you can hold in your hands, and you can go day by day. So at the end of 10 days, you'll have 10 videos in 10 days, and you'll have all these practices laid out. And if you have 10 content-driven videos, you've got enough content to last you up to like 2 months on social media, and probably as much as 4 or 5 months in email. And it's going to get this off the ground for you, so you don't have to let it stand in your way. Got some other bonuses we want to do just for the Nachi members. I've got a thing I put together. It's a video script template. It's going to show you exactly how to lay out your video, not just what topic to put, but actually how to say it, what to say, what order, what things can you not forget, and what order do you need to put them in. I see the same mistakes over and over and over again, and I don't want you guys to make those mistakes. We've got a video one sheet. The one thing that separates the pros from the amateurs when it comes to making video is the pros prepare. And they know what they're going to do ahead of time, and they get a better result. For you, we're all busy. And I know now we might have some time, but generally speaking, we are busy. And if you plan ahead of time, you will be able to do all your content in a super short period of time. So proper planning is what's going to allow you to knock all your videos out in like an hour and a half, and knock all your distribution out in a couple of hours. And so in like probably 4 to 6 hours, you can knock out a whole month's worth of content marketing. And you set it, you forget it, and then it does its thing. It doesn't have to be complicated or time consuming if you'll plan and you'll kind of know what to do. So I think that's a tool that we usually put in a course that we charge more than 10 times as much what this course is. So these are some of the things in here. I didn't really know how to put a value on this. You know, these methods have put more than $100,000 into our business. So there's a huge value here. But we're not going to do that. You know, normally, to give you an idea, if you work with us on a coaching client basis, that's like $5,000 to come work with us for a couple of months. But we want to make this like just super, super, super affordable. All the stuff that we talked about. And I don't mean this to be salesy. I just kind of want you to see what we're putting in here. It can have huge returns in your business. We're doing this course for like $97. So I wanted to make it so cheap and so simple and so quick and so direct that it just was kind of like a no-brainer to take this step. I want you guys to be able to make content. I want you guys to be able to take advantage of this. And so that's why we're creating this whole special thing. And I want you to take action quickly. We want to throw one more thing out there, and this is probably worth $1,000 by itself. The first 10 people who join, we'll do a coaching call with you, and we'll actually walk you through what our first coaching call looks like when we do coaching clients as well. So I want you guys to be able to get the benefit of this, because I know we're all feeling really beaten down. I want to take you back. It was Christmas of 2013, and I was at my parents' house, and I was sitting on the chair, and my arm was in a sling. About a month before, I had torn my pec. And my background is my biggest, I would say, hobby, but it was bigger than that to me. It was bodybuilding. And I had loved to train super heavy. I'd done it for years, and it was like it meant everything to me. And when I tore my pec, it took that away. And I realized that with this kind of injury in my shoulder, that I'd never be able to lift heavy again. Not in the same way, not with the significance of the injury that I had. And I sat there and I was feeling pretty sorry for myself. And I don't know what it was or what the luck was, but I was introduced to this program. And I was sitting there and I started reading the sales letter. And it opened my eyes to a whole different way of working out and a whole different program that I might be able to do. I thought, I might be able to learn to do this stuff. And I made a decision right there that amidst this awful situation that I was going to take action and do something. And so I bought this program. It was an online program. And I just, as soon as I could, I had to go through therapy and rehab and all this slow stuff. I started doing it. And 6 months later, I found myself in much better shape than I was before I got hurt. And a year later, I was in the best shape of my whole life. And I attribute that totally to my injury, that the injury was what allowed me to be in a position to make that change. And so it's oftentimes when we find ourselves in these unfortunate positions like being stuck at home, not being able to inspect with this pandemic going on, that an opportunity arises. You know, all of a sudden now we have time to think about what works, what didn't work, and the opportunity to do something different. And it's those that choose to do something different and take that opportunity that reap results that they never imagined possible. And just like I got in the best shape of my life because I started to do something different because I'd gotten hurt, I know without a shadow of a doubt that taking the advantage and taking action on doing content marketing, on video marketing can be, if you choose it to be, the thing that can give you marketing results that you've never had. And I want you guys all to have a brand that's going to survive and thrive 5 years from now and 10 years from now. And I know that this will make an impact on it. So really appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate Ben. Appreciate everybody's time. I have no idea how long we've gone. I know we've probably been about an hour now. But if you guys have some questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I can, Ben, I don't know how the best way to do this. Should I send you a link, or should I put a link in the chat, or?
Well, what is the link? Where do you want everyone to go? To go? Is it theclosingguys.com?
No, we have a special site for this. So I'm just going to copy the link here.
Well, I love how you simplified it with just press record. That was really good. I'm really, really happy with your
presentation. So Nikki has put the link in the chat. It's the very last piece in the chat right here, that 10xwithvideo.com, and then all the extra stuff in there.
Okay, I'm there right now on my screen.
Yep. And so this outlines the whole program. Again, we've tried to make it. Here's the thing. I don't want this to be this super complex program that defeats you before you start. So like you said, it is built around getting you over the hump.
Yep. If anybody has any questions for Bradley right now, just at the very end of our presentation, we only have a few more minutes, or you could reach out to Bradley and Nikki directly, theclosingguys.com. But Bradley, I really like the whole idea of
anything. It's brad@theclosingguys.com. It's a great way to get up with me.
brad@theclosingguys.com. Awesome. I really loved your presentation, what you were talking about, value. You know, if you could solve a problem that people have, that is a great way to connect with them. We teach about value all the time, that the cost of a home inspection is based upon value. It's not really based upon the cost of the paper or the ink that their inspection report is. It's based upon that if the perceived overwhelming value, right, is greater than the cost, then it's a good decision for your client. So that's what we always talk about. Overwhelm your clients with value, always bringing value. And everybody right now is at home and probably thinking about maintaining their home. So one of the problems that I had personally was I had a kitchen sink leak on me without me knowing. And so I got my infrared camera out and I made sure that nothing was damaged or spreading out, and I fixed that leak. But a lot of homeowners and tenants and occupants, they don't know what to do with a home problem or a housing problem. And they need to know their local neighborhood home inspector. So to know that right now, can't shake hands, but you can certainly make content so you can share and get ready for the pent up demand for home inspections.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. I couldn't agree more. You know, I think about all the knowledge that we have as home inspectors. And right now, when we can't always be there in person, we can give it, right? We can give it to people in our content.
Bradley Clark, really appreciate your time. Thank you. I know you're busy. helping everybody out in your network. I'm glad you have a group and a coaching program and platform to share with others. Thanks for the discount that you offered for webinar attendees and for making yourself available. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you, Ben. It was a pleasure.
All right, everybody. Stay safe and healthy out there and stay connected. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Bradley.